Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Football Daily Weekly. Thank you very much for joining us. Kristan is here and Adam is here.
All right, that's good.
Back due to overwhelming popular demand.
Of course.
Is Kristan. Hey, there's the joke. Right, let's get on with it. Up first, AshMedley saying, can Harry Kane live up to the hype? I assume this is in an England shirt. Because he is living up to the hype, isn't he? Scoring all dem goals for Spurs.
Scoring all dem goals. Can he live up to the hype in an England shirt? It's maybe we should wait until after these two games, really. Even then, I'd say we can't really draw many conclusions. He's 21, isn't he? But he's the top scorer in the Premier League this season at the moment. Absolutely incredible. His first Premier League start, I think, was in November. So in order for him to do that is amazing. I think, a lot of people are questioning whether he's going to be like this one season wonder, or whether he's going to be able to sustain this for a number of years. It's just impossible to know, isn't it?
I almost think that in the immediate term, yes, Harry Kane will deliver. The long term, I'm not so sure.
Why?
I just think we do need to see a little bit more of a sample size. I don't think he's the same ilk of Michael Ricketts. I don't think, as Sam Allardyce once said, it will not be a double celebration for him. It won't be his first and his last England appearance. But I do think that he just needs a little bit more time producing so I can be fully convinced.
He has been incredible, but the hype is, I saw it was in the Times this weekend, they were comparing him to Gerrard Muller.
Oh
already.
My goodness.
Yeah, there was, they're sort of saying that
Gerrard Muller is one of the most prolific goal scorers ever.
Exactly, so it feels like a media thing where we're going to build him up massively and then it's just to tear him down next season or something. I hope that doesn't happen, because I think it's a great story. I think it's great. As a Spurs fan, it's fantastic. I think as an England fan, we should all be enjoying it. But it's too early to tell, you see.
You ended that special partnership with Real Madrid just in time, didn't you?
Yeah. He'd have been off otherwise. He'd been off.
Lovely. Ash Bennett asking, England, Lithuania predictions. Kristan.
Lithuania are incredibly defensive. They're not expecting anything. I mean, they could go second, but I think they'll be comfortable 3-0.
Yep, Adam.
Harry Kane hat-trick, 3-0. You heard it here first.
I think Lithuania do play very defensively. Although I think they might nick one maybe from a corner, so maybe 3-1 I'll go for. Keanan and Landore asking, do you think David De Gea could win the Player of the Season award? I think he could.
Yeah, I think...
There's not too many obvious candidates, but Harry Kane is obviously another one.
Yeah, I think Harry Kane is undoubtedly going to win the Young Player award, the BFA Young Player. As for Player of the Season, I suppose, if you're talking about consistency, you probably would say David De Gea has been the most consistent. Diego Costa, Cesc Fabregas, Alexis Sanchez, all these other standout players, they've had a little drop-off in form since January. So you might say David De Gea deserves it, if not Harry Kane.
I just think goalkeepers get overlooked all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a position that we inherently value as being the most influential. I think because you can register kind of Kane's success in goals and numbers, it's just a lot easier for him to win those kind of awards and build the hype train or the case for, whereas goalkeepers traditionally, they just aren't valued as highly. That's why Neuer doesn't win the Ballon d'Or and things like that.
Vic Ramadicha is asking, why didn't the media treat Gerrard's stamp the same as Costa's? That's a very, very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Adam, what are you thinking straight off the bat?
I think it's obviously his status in England. He's quite revered, isn't he, Gerrard? Former England captain. I'm not sure if the apology had anything to do with it. He came out and apologised afterwards, whereas maybe Diego Costa didn't apologise. You see these sort of things from Diego Costa every week, as opposed to one-off isolated incidents. So I think, yes, it's all a bit of that. But I think, you just said off camera, if it was Joey Barton that did it, he'd probably get as much pelters as Costa, because that's his character, that's what you expect. Whereas Gerrard, it seems like a one-off.
Kristan?
Rory Smith had a really good go at him.
Did he?
On the Times podcast. So I think it's not unanimous that he's been let off. You do have to factor some of the things that I'm touched on there as well. He's not done it consistently. Yes, it was stupid, but then I think once you've said it was stupid, there's not really much more you can do.
Yeah, I think I did see a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's stupid." Could have cost them the top 4 potentially. That's a very important 3 points. So he did get a lot of stick for it, but.
To me, the narratives are different. Right. Costa's is, he's consistently doing this kind of stuff and it needs to stop. Gerrard's is, he did this one silly thing because he was fueled by emotion. I'm not sure how much Costa is being influenced by the occasion in his instances, whereas Gerrard, you could see from the second he came on the pitch, he was like a man possessed. Anything in a Man United shirt was dinner.
Adam King is asking, Ozil is convinced he can win the Ballon d'Or. Can he?
Did you hear this quote?
Yeah, I did. Ozil says one day he can win the Ballon d'Or.
I don't see it, mate.
You don't see it?
No. I think...
How do you have said that if he was at Real Madrid the other year? What would you have said?
I said no. I think now the Ballon d'Or's, in the last few years with Messi and Ronaldo, it's shifted into more of a, it's almost like a goal-scoring award. It seems like Manuel Neuer didn't really have a chance this year.
Oh, but he was nominated in the top
He
three.
was nominated, but in order to actually win it, I think it's basically Messi and Ronaldo. It will be that for the next 3 or 4 years.
If he had an influential season, I know it's a big if, of course, but if he was a very influential playing in there for Arsenal, they went on, dare I say, even won the league and played well for Germany and all. Yes, these are huge ifs, of course, I grant that. But, it's within the realms of possibility, isn't it?
I think you said it best yourself. It's a huge if. The problem with him is through his career, he's always gone missing at periods that are the most important. And while he gets the assists at Real Madrid, and again, even at Arsenal, he's creates the most chances of any player there. I think he gets the most assists per game. He's top for that as well. But again, he has this tendency to just go missing during the course of the season. And the best players don't do that. Ronaldo doesn't go missing. Messi doesn't go missing. Neuer even doesn't go missing. He's consistently brilliant for Bayern Munich, and that's what it takes to win the Ballon d'Or. Consistent brilliance.
Okay. Sam Jennings, can you see either Falcao or Di Maria at Manchester United next season? It's crazy, really, isn't it, to think that those two players, people are suggesting, well, the Manchester United need them. I mean, Di Maria's a marvellous player, as is Falcao, but of course I understand why. It's just not quite happened for them there.
Falcao won't be there next season. I think that's almost
I'd be
certain.
surprised, yeah.
I've got more chance of starting for Man United than Falcao has.
I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Di Maria left at the end of the season.
But really, only someone like PSG could sign him because of the money, and they're not going to sell him for less than 30. But he's still a fantastic player, Di Maria. I mean, obviously he had the off-the-field stuff that we've heard about, his house being burgled and whatnot, which is enough to shake up anybody. It doesn't matter how much money you earn, of course. So do you think they should give Di Maria another year, at least?
Definitely. I think it's ridiculous to even consider writing him off after one season for that much of an investment. I think, look, if you're looking at it from the other end and you are adamant you have to sell him, then PSG are interested. They want to shift Lavezzi. They're even looking at maybe Pastore going as well. If you do what we're seeing a lot more clubs do now, where you loan someone with an obligation to buy and it spreads the FFP cost out a little bit, then they can potentially afford him. But I just think it's far too reactionist and short-term from Manchester United just to get rid of him after one season, because in patches we've seen enough to say he is a fantastic individual and can change the course of a game. It's just bedding into a new culture and a new style.
I wouldn't be surprised if he left, but I think he will be there next season. I mean, you look at last season, Fellaini was written off as a complete flop. Yeah. This season, Van Gaal's found a way to make him work. I think, obviously Di Maria is such a fantastic player, they'll find a way to make it work eventually.
ASAP_Yusuf, can Neymar ever live up to the heights of Ronaldinho?
Let's have Kristan answer this one.
Yeah,
first off.
Go on, Kristan. First up.
Very different players to me. Very different players, not just positionally, but their
but
style
living up
as
to
well.
the heights, though, that's what you're saying. Or the highs.
Yeah, and I think arguably he could probably do it for a more consistent period of time, because Ronaldinho, again, incredibly sad story. The passing of his father is often cited as the reason he fell off and had this kind of fall down the slope, so to speak.
But in his peak, Ronaldinho...
He was exceptional, absolutely.
He's one of the best players in the last 30 years, you could argue. I mean, utterly phenomenal. And did things, Barcelona fans will say, actually, the one thing that Ronaldinho... They love that perhaps Messi doesn't have, and we're really nitpicking, of course, when we say this, but this is what the Barcelona fans have said. It's not my opinion, so, no comments, please, about that.
His own headband range.
His own headband range, and also his unpredictability. Ronaldinho would do passes with his back, he would do little flick, and people would just look at that and think, well, you've done something there that nobody could have predicted. Whereas Messi... into the top corner, chipping over the goalkeeper. It's phenomenal, but it's the unpredictability and the sheer wizardry.
It's a bit like magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I say Messi, in the last few weeks, he's decided that he's going to start nutmegging everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that, that there's that element to it.
He could nutmeg a mermaid.
Exactly. So I'd say sort of like what you're saying with Neymar is that he's probably going to be more consistent.
Yeah.
I'd say Ronaldinho, like saying, Neymar doesn't have the unpredictability, doesn't have the magic necessarily, but I'd say Neymar will no doubt be more consistent over time. He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And I think he whereas Ronaldinho perhaps didn't have the consistency over a long period of time, Neymar probably will have that.
It depends what you quantify as heights, because for me, looking back, Ronaldinho defined a generation.
Yeah.
And I watch highlights of him now, and I still don't guess which way he's going to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the the elastico and things like that. Like, he really did impact the culture of football across the board, more than just the boots.
And Brazilian Ronaldo as well. The two of them.
Like, they're synonymous with a generation. And you see it now, even like when he goes and plays in these tournaments abroad, and the players like just want one boot of his and a shirt and his shorts and all this kind of stuff. He means so much to everyone. I think, as I say, it depends how you want to quantify heights.
Yeah, there you are. Thank you very much to Adam.
That's all right.
And Kristan. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for watching. See you next time.